wrinkle curve almost, kind of. And then once you kind of lay that in there, your right side is going to kind of come down underneath that nose. So I'm going to kind of sketch this out a little bit. So a little bit close, about to the middle. And you're going to kind of, once you get to the middle, you're going to overlap. And you're going to pull this right up into that dimple on the left side. And you're going to think of that letter W shape as it comes around. So what is our next step that we need to add, What we need right here in this little area. We need these little teeth there. And he's got to keep them in check. I'm going to go straight down from that vertical line, just like we had to keep our teeth in check. They can continue to grow and curl, just kind of like our fingernails can grow and they can curl too. So they have to gnaw on certain materials and everything. And that's, one thing, like, again, if you're considering a domestic rabbit out there, there's a lot of research that probably needs to be done beforehand. They can live for long periods of time. But you want to be able to take care of them for many, 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 many years out there. They usually have a couple of teeth there. Still a toddler, as you know. As kids, when we're growing up, we lose a couple of teeth sometimes. So that's possible with Thumper. And then we start right here at the dimple. We're going to bring this into the horizontal line. It's kind of angled, I guess. We call it a horizontal line. And then we're going to come into the tooth on this side. So you're going to dip down a little bit below it. Make that letter U. And then your tongue is going to sit right there on top of this line. So you're going to give it a little bit of a curve. So you can taste those delicious treats. So what do you think Thumper here needs to eat? Maybe it needs to eat to be healthy. What kind of treat? Yeah. Well, somebody does say carrots, I think, out there too. Yeah. Carrots are really good, but every once in a while, maybe because it's kind of like a sweet treat to them. So it'd be the equivalent of a candy bar for us, or something sweets for us. We probably don't want to eat it every single meal. Probably going to make our tummies hurt after a while. So we're going to probably recommend maybe some leafy greens. So that's why he'll say, eating greens is a special treat that makes long ears and great big feet. But it sure is awful stuff to eat, right? I made that last part up myself. That's all full-on Thumper quotes right there. Go back and rewatch Bambi. Now, this movie came out in 1942, just after Dumbo. It was worked on the same time as Dumbo. This was the 5th Disney animated film. This got everybody was excited about Bambi. Everybody wanted to be on Bambi. They put all this hype on it and everything like that. And Dumbo, they kind of used a lot of that story department to kind of help bring that story out. And it's one of the shortest films too. So now we're going to come over on the right side. I'm going to show a little bit of his right eye. So we're going to bring this into that first guideline. I'm going to go up, and it's going to give a little bit of a bump right there. Like a little bump. And then we're going to trace over the top part of that circle just a little bit. Once we hit the middle of that circle, you're going to bring it outside of it and bring it over to that vertical line. It kind of creates a little bit of a bump on the side of his head, or top of his head. And just let it touch down. Now just go ahead and continue that curve all the way around. And then the right side kind of looks like a little bit of a contact lens almost, because it kind of curves outside that circle. And again, if you want to sketch it out really, really light and loose first, I do prefer everything to be a little messy. If I were drawing these guidelines right here, I would make those a lot messier too myself. That was done by a computer though. So. We're going to add in a little bit of the eyelash coming off of that first guideline. We're going to give it a little bit of a flutter. Yeah. So now you can see that's a little portion of the other eye. Again, the eyes on the side of the head, they like to hide. Eyes in the front, they like to hunt. So a nice little fun kind of theme to kind of say, to remember between prey animals and predators. Now we need squishy cheeks, right? We're thinking of Thumper when we see him. He's just happy. He's got these really fun, fluffy cheeks out there. And it goes right from the second guideline. You're going to curve out and then bring it into that blue line. You're going to bring it just underneath and right into that chin. Then we'll sketch it out first. So we're not going out too far on this side because he is kind of turned away from us. Now, if you draw those really, really light lines, you can go on top of it and draw a little hook. Switch back, letter J, whatever you want to think of it, doesn't matter. So you just kind of go back and forth, maybe some a little bit longer than others. You can try out different things. When you think of fur, I just want you to kind of reminisce and think of hairstyles. And think of your hair this morning when you woke up. So some of you had a really great hairstyle this morning when you woke up. Go ahead and replicate that if you want. But we need to have those nice little cheek fur there too. See, he's already animated. He's ready to hop out already. On the other side, on the left side, you're going to bring this up. You're going to go ahead and slide it over to the side of the circle. We're going to see a couple of like different tones of fur right here. Maybe it's a little bit lighter up front. This is going to make kind of like a triangle in this space. If this helps anybody out, try that out. You're going to overlap, kind of like a cloud. Think of a fluffy cloud. Overlap these lines. I'm going to do another overlap right beside it, and then hit that horizontal line kind of underneath the bottom of the circle. Again, I'm going to call it, even though it's angled, I'm going to call it horizontal in there. I'm going to bring it into that chin. We won't add too much fur right here for this part, but maybe a little more fur as it comes around on the top here. So we'll see. So I start with that blue line where the two lines kind of come together on the side of the circle. We're going to kind of sketch this out like we did on the right side, and then bring it right there to the side of his cheek. And then you can go in there and you can add in some little fur going up, sticking up, and then some going to the side. If you need to do some sound effects as you're drawing this part to kind of get out of the head a little bit and just kind of just relax and have fun. Sound effects will help, I promise. Just with anything that you draw out there, it really does, because it just kind of allows you to relax the brain up there. All right. I know now you're thinking, like, wait a minute, I thought we were drawing Thumper. He's starting to look a little more like another Disney character, which I love. Chip and Dale. Yes, you can see it will Chip more than Dale because he's got that little chocolate chip nose, right? And then Dale's got the red nose. So I kind of show the differences. Usually Chip's got the 1 tooth. Dale's got the 2 teeth that are kind of separate too. A little more goofy. Dale's a little more kind of silly, if you know those two characters. But what's really cool about that, about Chip and Dale, the same guy actually animated. So Bill Justice also did Thumper, also did Chip and Dale, which is really, really cool. So I kind of like to apply that to as we're drawing. And a lot of the Nine Old Men actually kind of worked on this character too. If you look at that vertical line, we can come over here to the left side, that little vertical line. There's one at the top. I'm going to keep it out of view because I don't need it right now. But we're going to come all the way over here. You're going to start from that vertical line. You're going to stretch it up and then bring it around. Now, he's still young. Keep in mind, his ears can keep growing, but he's got to remember to eat those leafy greens that he talks about in the movie. There's sure is awful stuff to eat. But as you know, as we get older, as adults, right, we start to kind of maybe end up liking some of those green things that are placed on our plate. So yes, kids, pay attention to your parents. They say make sure you eat your greens, make sure that you do that, and obey your parents there. Because they're going to be good for you, you're going to end up liking them. And then the inside, you're going to start right here at the side of the circle. You're going to bring this around, and curve it down and over to the side. Kind of gives it that nice little loop. This line right here is very similar to the line up above it. So you can kind of use that as a guide as you're drawing. Just kind of come back to a point right there for the inside of his ear. And then always, when you're starting to animate and you're starting out drawing, always be kind to yourself. Be kind to your artwork too as well. And always remember that another Thumper quote. Can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. Right? As he says in the film. So always, be kind to yourselves and your art too. And then we're going to do the top part of his ear here. So we're going to back it out just a little bit. You're going to look at that blue line up at the top right here. You're going to come all the way down to where that kind of vertical line is. It's going to kind of stick up. You're going to bring this up and over into the blue line. And you're going to come right back down into the middle of that circle there. Sketch it out. Now I like to kind of think of a taco shell if you need to. They were working on like Bambi too. They sometimes bring maybe the smaller animals into the studio. Even with the deer over there with Walt and the picture on the right side of the room. They actually brought in those deers from Maine, and those are the real life models for Bambi and Pauline. Never ever want to bring things out from the wild into the studio, but then this is back in the 1940s. They're still learning themselves, so but yeah, be able to kind of experience nature. Is a really great thing. Make sure that you go out there and check out where your national or state parks are. NPS.gov. If you don't know where those are, you can kind of look those up. We have a great map out front too. You can kind of right as you're walking up at the inside of his ear over here, kind of check out where you're from. And we all have different little areas. And support them. Give them some love out there. Now we're gonna go ahead and add in a little bit of his little bunny fur right here, right there, underneath his chin. I'm gonna draw a little curve going down. And I'm gonna go ahead and draw another curve right beside that too. So it kind of makes a letter V. And I'm gonna start with the chin and we're gonna curve down over to that horizontal line. We've got that little bunny fur. And we can see the horizontal line right there, maybe a little bit better. Now we're going to go a little bit past this blue line. I'm going to give it a little bit of a curve going down. And then you can go ahead and add some bunny fur over here. Just kind of add in some little zigzags back and forth. Have a little bit of fun with it too. And then a lot of the detail in the background for Bambi as we came from Tyrus Wong. Very kind of more realistic painter. They wanted to paint animals a little more realistically for the film. So this was really an exciting project. That's why they had really a lot of all that hope going into making a Bambi out there. So I thought that was, when you're going into these things, for the first time, you get really excited. You're going to put those top animators on there. And again, a lot of the Night Old Men worked on about 5 Night Old Men of the 9. So we can actually do a little bit of shading. Sorry, drop my pencil. Hit the side of your pencil there. You can kind of run through that. And you can go outside the lines too. So take a sketchbook out there with you next time you find your national or state park. I'm from Alabama, so we do have lots of really beautiful state parks around the area, so we can kind of learn about nature. We can obviously admire those animals from afar. There, so like Chihuahua State Park, Joe Wheeler State Park, Montano State Park. I grew up really close to Montesino State Park too, and it was just such a fun, beautiful place to be. Of course, we're known as Alabama, the city beautiful, so, originally. So, and then we add a little wrinkle right there on the left side, right there of his nose, and we did it. We showed Thumper in 20 minutes. There, we can decide on artwork. Get proud of yourselves out there and what you accomplished. Put that name on it. And then also date it. So you always want to date your artwork too. That's very important, especially if it's your first time. I think I mentioned that earlier. There's maybe some of you, this is going to be your very first Thumper. It's going to be the very, very best Thumper out there. So be proud of it. And the more you do it, the better you get at it too. So 113, 20, 26 there. Get that date in there. You want to hold them up in the air. You want to share them. If you want to wait, put them on the refrigerators at home. Please do that too as well. These are all looking really, really great. On the front row that I can see here in the back. You can hold them up if you like. Over on the right side, nice job. You're like the first, oh, there we go. There's it. First one up, second, third, fourth. Oh my goodness, I'm multiplying. Yes. I love it. These are all looking so good. I am so proud of everybody. Please keep drawing, keep loving art, keep loving life, keep loving animals out there too as well. And keep those pencils if you can. If you got tons at home, I totally understand. We provide recycling of all kinds as you exit out. On the right side on that table, if you don't mind placing the boards on the back of the seat, we do appreciate that so much. But thank you so much for your time. Y'all have a wonderful day here at Animal Kingdom. Bye everybody. Have a good one. Thank you.